everyone. Hopefully you've been following the posts on social media where we've been doing a countdown of 7 days to go, 6 days to go, 5 days to go. Well, today is the day. The day is finally here where we are launching my new online sanctuary. It's the Anita Moorjani Sanctuary, and I want to share with you a little bit as to why we're launching it. And actually, we're going to be launching it in just under 11 minutes. So you're going to be here live with us, with Danny and myself. And here's Danny working away. He has 10 minutes before he has to go live with the new sanctuary. So I want to share a little bit about why we're relaunching it, why we built the new sanctuary, and what's going on with the old iteration. So what happened is the previous iteration was built from scratch by Danny himself. Every aspect of it was built by him. So every aspect of any maintenance, upgrades, and even when I would have new, fresh ideas that, oh, this is what I want to do, and let's do this, it would have to be Danny who implemented it because he was the only one that knew, he knew how to use the software because he created it. It wasn't like a commercially bought software. He really did bring in different components and he made it from scratch. But so what started to happen is that it got a little bit big and unwieldy and hard to maintain because Danny has to do a ton of other things. He plays the role of 10 people in my life and in my work. So he was called away for so many other things. So things started to fall through the cracks. But not only that, he started to get burned out. And because he was getting burned out, I was also getting burned out. And a lot of the ideas I had, we couldn't implement them. I had these ideas to do like an infinite energy circle, like a healing circle for all of us, especially those who have physical ailments, to come together and share energy. But we never had the bandwidth to implement it. So we realized that the way we were doing things wasn't working for us. It was really unhealthy for us. And so what we did is we had to close the doors to new memberships, and we then hired somebody, a wonderfully beautiful webmaster, web designer, Melissa Gordon, and she's a unicorn like the rest of us, and she really got what I wanted. She understood it, she's a genius, and she created this beautiful, airy, wonderful, magical, miracle marinade of a sanctuary, of a platform for me. And so that's why we are opening it. So that's the launch today of this new sanctuary. And we're inviting all the members from our old sanctuary to make their move, to come over, because they're getting quite attached to the old one. But what I want to say to everyone is that this new sanctuary, because we have other people handling the IT, the tech behind it, and the maintenance of it, it means Danny and I will have a lot more energy for the creativity, and we'll have a lot more time to actually be present for you, as opposed to constantly be troubleshooting and putting out fires. So in fact, the new sanctuary promises to be so much better and so much healthier for us, which means we bring a higher vibe into the sanctuary. So now, the other thing I wanted to speak about, how long do we have, by the way? 6 minutes.
6 minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay, prod me or use a shepherd's crook or something when the time is up, because you know how I can get when I get started. I can go on and on. I wanted to speak a little bit about the impetus behind this, the whole sanctuary itself, and why did I decide to create it. So the big reason why I created it is because I wanted to create what I call a miracle marinade. You know, in this physical world, the information that gets bombarded at us is usually, probably I would say 99% of the time, is fear-based information. And it doesn't matter if the information comes in the guise of even if it comes in the guise of health, or sometimes even spirituality. Even some spiritual, especially religious messages, can be very fear-based. And there's a lot of fear-based messages around about what happens when you die. Even messages that are supposed to help you with your health and healing are more often than not, they're messages that make you feel fearful of your body and fearful about being sick, instead of feeling a love for your body and an appreciation for the miracle that your body is. So I wanted to create a world, literally a separate world than the one that exists, an alternative world where I know that if people are immersed in this world, they would be happier and healthier and their lives would work out better. This is the world that I experienced when I was in my near-death experience, where I learned that if I created a different world for myself, the cancer would heal very, very rapidly. And so that's what I've been striving to do for myself from the time I came back from my NDE. My life has been all about not going back to the world I used to be in, which caused the cancer, but creating a new world for myself that actually promoted health and well-being and wealth and abundance and all of these things. And I realized that in order to create that world for myself, I had to start to believe in completely different things and look in a different direction from the direction and the beliefs of this paradigm that we live in. The dominant belief system of this physical paradigm is one of fear and avoiding fear. But in my world, the dominant belief system is one of love and always moving towards love and following our passion and discovering what that is. So I knew that even if I wanted to help people, that is the direction I would have to help them attain. But it's really hard for me to help individuals one-on-one. And I realized that people have to, it's not about just coming for a 1-hour session with a therapist. It's about being immersed in that as a marinade, as your community, as your world. Because my marinade prior to my NDE was one of fear. And it's nobody's fault. It's because that's what the dominant paradigm is in this physical world we live in. And people believe they're being helpful when they tell you, oh, you've got to be realistic and you really need to watch this and take care of this. And they come from this fear-based place. So they think they're being helpful. But it really does immerse you into this place of fear and victimhood, where you feel that you are a victim of your circumstances. My original idea many years ago was to actually build physical places, physical venues where people come to for weeks or months on end and experience being in this marinade of miracles. I call it a miracle marinade because it's only in a marinade like that where things like what we call miracles, like even healing that happened to me, where these become everyday occurrences. When you're in a marinade that debunks anything that's outside of physical, outside of academia or outside of, I won't say science because science is pretty broad nowadays, but outside of what medicine deems as science, when you're in an environment that debunks anything that's outside of that kind of thinking, then you're not in a miracle marinade, and you are immersed in those beliefs and those values. And when you're immersed in those beliefs and values, you're less likely to experience a magical and miraculous life. But when you're in an environment where topics like spiritual guidance and how beautiful the afterlife is and how all our illnesses are reversible, and when these kinds of topics are common and normalized, then that's more of a miracle marinade. And that's the kind of environment I wanted to develop. And so I was originally thinking of physical venues. But when COVID hit, that idea became too far removed because people were locked down and people were getting even more fearful and were needing this marinade even more, which is why we built the online sanctuary. That was the impetus behind it. We built it for people who needed that upliftment. They needed to be surrounded in high vibe and marinated in that because they were just getting lonelier and sicker and sadder with everything they were being fed from the outside world. So when we opened our doors in our original sanctuary a couple of years ago, we were flooded with members, too many for us to handle. And we learned really quickly, because Danny was the only one handling the technology, we learned really quickly that it was really hard to maintain. 45 seconds to go, 44, thank you. Yes, see, I told you I would forget the time. So that's the impetus behind it. That's why we created this online sanctuary. I call it the Miracle Marinade. It's my sanctuary. So now we're at 30 seconds, 20. How do you feel, Boo, about switching over from one sanctuary to the other? You look petrified. Should I be worried?
No,
Not much.
no, it's fine.
Just a little.
It'll all work.
It will, won't it? And you do know that once we switch over, the magical Melissa is going to be taking over everything on that side. Aren't you relieved? 3, 2, 1. It's 1:11 Pacific time. Yay! The switch has been made. Did it work? Did it work?
Danny, what have you done? Oh!
Oh my God!
No, it's fine.
We're just kidding. We're just toying with you guys.
It is fine. It is fine, right, Danny?
We had to have the effects.
Yeah.
Well, I think it'll be okay.
It will.
I think
If
it'll
Melissa's doing it, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, Melissa's in charge. It'll all work.
It'll all work.
So
Yeah.
this means your retirement is officially here, right, Danny?
Absolutely.
Now you only have 32 jobs instead of 33.
Exactly.
Almost.
Yeah.
I just have a couple more things here to make sure that work properly.
You do know that even though you're off the hook for the IT for the new sanctuary, you will still be expected to come in front of the camera sometime.
Anyway.
So I wanted to share another thing that happened. So this morning, I decided to draw an angel card, an angel oracle, to ask my guides a question of what to expect from the sanctuary. You know, it's been a long time in the making. It's been months and months, and we've been waiting for this day. And I was like, okay, guides, please, I know I'm getting the message. It's all going to be fantastic, but I'm going to draw a card, and I want you to tell me through the cards what the future holds for this beautiful sanctuary and my future with the sanctuary and so on. So I used this beautiful deck by Radley Valentine. And the thing that I want to tell you is that Radley is actually going to be one of our guests in the new sanctuary, because I'm going to tell you in a minute some of the offerings. But I used this deck. I barely started shuffling and a card flew out. And the card that flew out is the Magician. We have 2 cameras here. That's why I'm alternating. And it's the Magician. And I love it. I love it that this card flew out, because it actually says, you are ready. You have the resources or the ability to manifest them. Life is magical. And yes, we do have the resources now. We really do.
Can I interject just
Yes.
about?
Yes.
So if anyone is into tarot, the Magician actually symbolizes the end of the journey. It starts with the Fool, and it feels like that's so symbolic of what the sanctuary has gone through. It's like it started with a fool, Danny. No, but no, it started on this journey of like the Fool has a bag with everything he needs in it, but he's figuring it out, and he's figuring out, how do I do this and what's going to make it work? And he grows into the Magician, and it feels like that's what happened with the sanctuary. You figured out what you wanted, you figured out how to make it work, you figured out what didn't work, and now you're the Magician. It's perfect. And
Yes, I like that. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. I love that. And we're going to be offering a lot of magical things in the new sanctuary. And this time we have the resources to do it. I wanted to do this in the previous iteration, but we didn't have the resources. And I want to say here, I'm so grateful to the members from the old sanctuary who are now joining us. I won't say crossing over to the new sanctuary, but who are now joining us in the new sanctuary. Thank you for your patience. I so appreciate you guys, love you guys. And I promise you, you will love this new one so much more. We have offerings such as the Infinite Energy Circle, which the first one we will be offering towards the end of this month will really be to send energy to the whole planet. But moving forward from there, a lot of it will be focused on healing, group healing, everybody sharing energy to heal each other's bodies. And the other thing I will be offering is something called the Magic Hour, where we will have magical guests with a ton of very uplifting and magical information. We want to normalize conversations about our spirit guides and the messages we get from the other side. Nobody is going to think you're crazy or cuckoo. And because you open up to these things more when you have a community that believes in it, it starts to happen more and more. We want to share more healing stories, high vibe, miraculous healing stories, so that you know that it's possible for this to happen. And it's not just possible, but it's normal for this to happen. The only reason it doesn't happen is because we bought into a paradigm that doesn't believe in these things, that actually debunks so much that is outside of modern medicine. So that is the environment we're creating. And I think this time we have really succeeded in doing that. An interesting thing happened just a few days ago is that I was playing with the Radley Valentine Angel deck. And I want to give a shout out to Radley. We're gonna tag you on this. So I was playing with the Radley Valentine Oracle deck, and then I drew some cards that were amazing again. And then I put them away, closed the box, opened my computer, and in that moment there was an email in my inbox from one of my team members saying Radley had just written in. Now Radley and I have never communicated via email ever before. So this was the first. He had just written in to ask if I would do an interview with him. So I immediately said to Roz, I said, please ask him if he'll be on my new sanctuary. And of course he said yes. What's interesting is we've never communicated via email before, but his email, he was writing his email in the moments that I was playing with the card deck, with his card deck. So it's somehow we connected in the ethers. And these are the kinds of magical things that will and continue to be everyday occurrences once you start opening up to them and believing in them. So,
and that's also what's amazing. So it's not only about a place for healing and for connecting with people, but it really is going to be things such as how angel cards work. I think you're talking about having someone who does feng shui.
Yes,
come
Nicola
on.
will
Yeah.
come on to talk about feng shui and the energies in your home.
Exactly.
And how you can create a home or an energy in your home to support you personally.
Yeah, and whether that's a healing journey or a productivity journey, or you're working, a creativity journey. And then I know Erica's
coming on to speak about neuro-emotional technique, which digs deep into healing your emotions, because that's a huge part of healing every other part of your life, whether your issues are abundance or health. Healing your traumatic emotions is a big part of the journey.
Oh, and then I'm sure we're probably going to have some of your other friends on. I'm guessing like John
Holland.
Yeah, John Holland.
I'm sure
is
going to be on.
We're going to have all the friends.
Readings. It's going to be a fun venue.
And then you missed the most important thing that you're offering, Conversations with Anita. Oh yeah, that thing.
Oh yeah, that. There's that.
Yeah.
Yes, so I will also jump in via Zoom to communicate with you, and that's the opportunity for me to get to know you, where in the conversations with me, it will be a Zoom call with whoever chooses to attend, as many of you as want to attend, and we usually request that your camera is turned on so that I can see you too, because you always see me. This is an opportunity for me to see you and see who's in my platform.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I was going to say, but the first one is on January 18th, I believe, which is right after we get back from San Diego.
Yes.
And the story, we're going to be doing success stories.
Success stories,
So-
particularly healing success stories, but any success stories of anything amazing that happened to you, particularly if it started with adversity and then turned to amazing. So I will be going to San Diego this weekend for an event, and I'll be joined by Greg and Bruce and some of my wonderful friends over there. And so if you're around, I'd love for you to attend. But also next month, I will be speaking at the Conscious Life Expo. So please join me there at at the LAX Hilton. So that's next month. You can check my website for all my appearances. I love physical live appearances because then I get to experience your energy. And I want you to stay tuned because towards the end of the year, I will be doing a cruise. I am so thrilled. I've been waiting to be able to get back on a cruise ship because I love doing cruise events where we get to be together like for a whole 9 days. And then you really get to experience being immersed in the marinade.
Yeah. So we're going to be adding all these to the event page on your website. We're also going to be putting the sanctuary events on your website. So anyone who's interested in joining the sanctuary, attending sanctuary events, know what's going on. We'll also be promoting all of that on social media, of course.
Right.
Anything else you want to talk about the sanctuary?
I think I've covered everything. I have a beautiful team now helping me to run things, and so I'm feeling really blessed. Everybody on my team is a unicorn.
And nothing's broken yet, Danny? Everything's good?
Everything's running fine?
Everything looks like it's working very, very
Oh my God.
fine.
Oh my gosh,
I know.
that's good news.
You're not even telling... Danny, weren't there days you would wake up at like 4 a.m. to turn certain things on and to make sure things were like...
Yes.
Yeah, this is great. This is great.
You're almost retired
I am
Almost.
almost retired.
Yeah.
from at least one of your jobs.
Yeah.
Yes. I just want to make sure that everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Is there anything that any burning question or anything that anyone said that I need to address?
Yes, the most obvious one that we didn't go over. How can I join the sanctuary?
Oh
Which
my
we
gosh.
never even...
So
Yeah.
obvious.
Oops.
Yeah. Okay, so it's www.amsanctuary.com. www.amsanctuary.com, and you just scroll down and look at all the offerings. And I'd like you to know, and I want to assure you, that just because I have the sanctuary, it does not mean I won't be popping in and doing live videos. It does not mean that I won't have a YouTube channel. So for those of you who are not ready to join the sanctuary, please know that it won't affect all the other stuff I do. So there's still my YouTube channel, my Facebook, my Instagram, all of it.
Your
TikTok,
newsletter.
my newsletter, TikTok, all of it is still alive and functioning. You can still get content from there. My website, all of it. It's all still there. Nothing has changed. It's just one more thing that I really wanted to do. And it's something I wanted to do from my heart, to be really able to help people to immerse in the marinade that I actually want to see out in the real world.
Okay. And then once again, the link is www.am...
amsanctuary.com. That's A and M for mother, as in my initials, amsanctuary.com.
I'll be like M for mother. It's like not M for Morjani. That's true. Yeah, that one too.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
And then a couple of people actually someone said, will you have David Kessler on in the Magic Hour? I think he'd be a great person.
Oh yes, he's on the list. So we have a list. David Kessler is absolutely one of them. We have a few magical people like David Kessler and John Holland. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's great. I think I've covered everything, and I would love to see you in there. But if not to worry. I will see you on another Facebook Live, or Instagram Live, or maybe at an event. Maybe I'll see you in San Diego this weekend. Whichever way, can't wait to see you all again. Love you guys so much. Bye.